This is the GIS Evening Report for Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. I am Rikisha St. Louis. In the headlines, the end of the firearms amnesty and other important matters to be discussed by Prime Minister and two of his cabinet colleagues on Thursday. We'll have details to this story and more when we return.
The Grenada Cultural Foundation, in collaboration with the St. Andrews Development Organization, SEDU, the Grenada National Preparations Committee, GNRC, and Timber will commemorate Emancipation Day 2024 under the theme, In the Spirit of Emancipation, we embrace our African identity through our cultural expressions. Are you ready to celebrate Grenada's rich cultural heritage and history of resilience? Then look out for the televised panel discussion on July 28th. Proudly don your African wear on August 1st and join the Liberation and Ancestral Freedom March from the Old Public Library to the Market Square starting at 11 a.m. Then we complete the day at the Spice Baskets and witness the reenactments of the proclamation together with our cultural presentations. And finally, look out for the continuation of the activities in Grenville on August 5th with a parade from Pearls to Grenville at 3 p.m. and the Flambeau Walk from Canal Road at 6:30 p.m. Mark your calendars and get ready to join us in celebrating Grenada's emancipation with pride and joy. See you there.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell will host a media briefing at the Grenada Houses of Parliament conference room on Thursday, August 1st, and one of the main points of discussion will be the end of the firearms amnesty and the entry into law of the Firearms Amendment Act No. 2. Prime Minister Mitchell will be accompanied by Attorney General Senator Claudette Joseph and Minister for Education Senator the Honorable David Andrew. Other major topics for discussion include Grenada's assumption of the chairmanship of CARICOM and the hosting of the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, which concluded July 30th in Grenada. The recalling of the appointment of Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, the Minister for Youth and Sports, updates on relief assistance, the rebuilding and restoration efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, update on education matters, and the resumption of school in September will also be discussed. The press briefing will begin at 10 a.m. Implementation of ICT programs and policy development and the incorporation of sustainable development in the rebuilding process post-Hurricane Beryl. These are some of the key areas of focus for the next 6 months under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. He addressed the CARICOM's closing press conference at the Radisson Resort on Tuesday.
We intend to pursue a robust and vigorous approach to raising the necessary financing to help our member states build back and build back better. We appreciate that there has to be, in some instances, a paradigm shift in how we address the issue of resilience and sustainability, not perhaps just sticking to the conventional approaches to how you build or restore for Category 4, Category 5 hurricanes, because it's quite clear, even when they tell you a lot of these things can withstand Category 3 or Category 4 hurricanes, that when the hurricanes do come, they do not withstand them. We discussed a strategy for regional digital resilience, which I presented to my CARICOM colleagues as lead head for ICT. I'm happy to report that the strategy was endorsed and supported by member states. It is a wide-ranging strategy that treats with a number of issues that we need to confront with in CARICOM, ranging from digital integration, infrastructure and connectivity, digital skills, workforce development and capacity building, digital government e-services and digital sectors, the policy and regulatory environment.
Outgoing Chairman, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, said CARICOM advanced a number of initiatives and priorities in 2023 and the beginning of 2024 before the passage of Hurricane Beryl. He explained that although there were many successes, Hurricane Beryl has paused several advancements toward CARICOM's 25 by 2025 goal. Climate change, sustainable development, reducing the food import bill, air and marine transportation, digital advancements all formed part of the meeting's agenda over the past 2 days. Dr. Ali reported on some of the accomplishments of CARICOM during his tenure.
We saw expansion in cultivation and expansion in production from almost every member state. So we are confident with the investments we're making and with the type of dedication and policy formulation from heads in the region as a whole, notwithstanding the challenges that are before us, we will be successful in reducing that food import bill, focusing especially on housing, digitization, upskilling, skills development, and investment in transformation of our economies. We ask that strong focus on resilience and sustainability include rebuilding our housing stock and supporting the rebuilding of the housing sector in the region. Canada was very receptive to this. For a matter of fact, in all of these areas, we're putting together a regional effort so that we can pursue these initiatives. Many countries are already working directly in a number of these areas, but we wanted to have a regional effort.
The 47th regular meeting was held from July 28th to the 30th. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves calls for more private sector involvement in addressing the challenges of inter-regional transportation. CARICOM heads of government have been clamoring for years for a substitute following the demise of LIAT. The Leeward Islands Air Transportation, LIAT, established in 1956, was owned by several Caribbean governments. During the just concluded 47th regular CARICOM heads of government meeting, Prime Minister Gonsalves said the first phase of an inter-island ferry has been established for the Southern Caribbean between Guyana, Trinidad and Barbados. The initiative will be extended to other islands.
There's been a broad interest shown in the ferry service to include Grenada to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Lucia. But we need private sector input for that, and that hasn't come forth yet.
Dr. Gonsalves said more has to be done to expedite the process of replacing LIAT and addressing inter-regional travel.
It's the various initiatives in the field of air transport. None of them has actually manifested themselves yet, none of which has come about to show full fruition. But since the demise of LIAT, this has been a work in progress. There have been one or two airlines which have filled the breach to a limited extent. Caribbean Airlines has done some stuff, Inter-Caribbean has done some, Air Delphine from St. Vincent, SVG Air, and so on and so forth. But we need to have, and of course out of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Browne has been very heroic in seeking to revive LIAT as LIAT 2020. But we haven't filled the space yet left by LIAT, and that is humbug in interregional travel.
CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell said for the past 3 days, heads of government discussed at length issues surrounding regional air and marine transportation. Continuing the news, Curacao is optimistic about the benefits of being an associate member of the Caribbean community. The country became the 6th associate member on Sunday, July 28th, during the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government in Grenada. Prime Minister His Excellency Gilmar Pisas said the future of Curacao is brighter now because it is a part of a unified, resilient space with shared vision for growth and development for all members. He said just as his country can benefit from the union, so too can other countries benefit directly from Curacao in renewable energy, digital technology, climate resilience, and telecommunications.
For us, it's when you are outside CARICOM, you don't know how it works. But now that I'm associate member at QSO's that, we get more information, and for us, it's going to be very good progress in being a unity, being together, fighting against a lot of things. You can say climate change, you can say economic development, you can say IT, communication, a lot of things a lot of themes that we can be talking about. And for us as a part of the CARICOM right now, it's going to be things for QSO, things are going to get better. And we are looking forward to keep working together.
The acceptance of the Dutch island as its newest member is testament to CARICOM's commitment to regional integration and cooperation. This is the GIS Evening Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Climate change is real, bringing hotter days and less rain. Less rain means less water, so it's crucial for us to conserve water at home. When washing my vehicle, I use a bucket with rainwater that I have stored. This is how I save water. What are you waiting for?
Welcome back. Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Dr. Natalio Whitley, says his government will be donating $200,000 to the Hurricane Beryl recovery efforts in Grenada. Dr. Whitley spoke with the GIS on the importance of regional unity and support in times of disasters while attending the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads that concluded in Grenada on Tuesday. The BVI Premier says the assistance given to the British Virgin Islands by Grenada and other CARICOM members when Category 5 Hurricane Maria and Irma caused catastrophic destruction in 2017 did not go unnoticed.
We pledged US $200,000. We also pledged $200,000 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, we're also going to be sending supplies, which will be coming on the island chain very soon. And of course, we're contemplating other ways in which we can support in conversation with the Prime Minister. But of course, we had to give assistance because when we were in need, our Caribbean brothers and sisters were there for us. And of course, as small island developing states, of course, sometimes you're in the world is like a big ocean and you're just like a little small fish in the ocean. And so we have to rely on each other because we all go through the same things. We're all threatened by these devastating, more frequent, more powerful hurricanes every hurricane season. And we have to become more resilient. Which has been a topic here at CARICOM. How do we build our resilience? How do we access more finance for building resilience, for adapting, for mitigating, to responding when you have loss and damage? And the conversations have been fantastic. But just to let the people of Grenada know, we are here for you.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines will also receive $200,000. On the margins of the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of the Caribbean Community in Grenada, Canada's Minister for International Development, Honorable Ahmed Hussein, made his first visit to the Guave fish processing facility known as Grenada Nextt project. Nextt, as it is commonly known, is a Canada-funded project supported by Compete Caribbean and the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, that has received support in forming a cooperative aimed at exporting yellowfin tuna to the international market, as well as training in the proper standards to ensure customer confidence. Minister Hussein's visit highlighted the facility's operations and affirmed Canada's pride in supporting the initiative.
I've seen firsthand how the support that Canada has provided has enabled these fishers, this cooperative, to really take their product to the next level and prepare their product in a way that has raised the standard and has enabled them to export their product to international markets, in this particular case the United States. It means more money in their pocket, it means more efficiency, because before they used to sell the entire fish, but now they're selling parts of the fish and getting rid of the unwanted parts. That means less costs for freight for them and more money because they've raised their standards, and therefore their customers are paying more for a much higher quality, better processed product.
The visit, which occurred on Monday, included Her Excellency Lilian Chatterjee, High Commissioner of Canada, along with representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Food and Agricultural Organization, and the Red Cross. After witnessing the high standards of work at the facility, possible further support from Canada can be anticipated.
I've been asked by the cooperative to help them repair their lockers, to help them with more support so that they can do this even more and expand this model to other Caribbean countries, and hopefully even look at ways in which we can learn from this experience to others. So resources are always tight, but I'm happy to look at other ways we can support this cooperative, because they're doing an amazing job, and I'm very, very impressed at the collaboration between the government of Grenada, the fishers themselves, through the cooperative, the private sector, investors, Government of Canada, and the local fishers, who are, some are investors and some are partners. So it's a really big team effort, but the result is a really much more superior product compared to the past.
Following this, Minister Hussein visited Mr. Alistair McBain's farm in Waltham, St. Mark, to evaluate the approximately $200,000 in damage caused by Hurricane Beryl. He also discussed a potential Canadian assistance for land clearing and other recovery efforts.
This is a site that I'm told is replicated across Grenada in all three islands. And my visit here on this farm has allowed me to see firsthand the incredible devastation that the hurricane has caused, and how we can help people recover, not just for their immediate needs, but also hopefully contribute to the recovery of their livelihoods. And that could take the form of psychosocial support. It could take the form of providing them with immediate supplies to get through this difficult period. But we also have to consider how we can deploy Canadian assistance to help farmers like this one to clear their land and regain their livelihoods. It's the same for fishermen and fisherwomen, and we'll do everything that we can to make sure that we're there for the people of Grenada, as we have been already.
This is the GIS Evening Report. We'll have more news after the break.
The Grenada Cultural Foundation, in collaboration with the St. Andrews Development Organization, SEDU, the Grenada National Preparations Committee, GNRC, and Timber, will commemorate Emancipation Day 2024 under the theme, "In the Spirit of Emancipation, we embrace our African identity through our cultural expressions." Are you ready to celebrate Grenada's rich cultural heritage and history of resilience? Then look out for the televised panel discussion on July 28th. Proudly don your African wear on August 1st and join the Liberation and Ancestral Freedom March from the Old Public Library to the Market Square, starting at 11 a.m. Then we complete the day at the Spice Basket and witness the reenactments of the proclamation together with our cultural presentations. And finally, look out for the continuation of the activities in Grenville on August 5th with a parade from Pearls to Grenville at 3 p.m. and the Flambeau Walk from Canal Road at 6:30 p.m. Mark your calendars and get ready to join us in celebrating Grenada's emancipation with pride and joy. See you there.
Welcome back. The heads of government of the Caribbean community participated in a spice tree planting initiative at the Laura Herb and Spice Garden located at Laura Land, St. David, prior to the conclusion of the 3-day regional meeting in Grenada. The tree planting initiative is testimony to the will of the heads to ensure that Grenada can return to its glory days of having a significant count of spices on the island. Over 14 trees were planted, including spice, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. The first 3 trees were planted by the outgoing chair of CARICOM, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of Guyana, current Chairman, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and Honorable Mia Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell took a moment to welcome his CARICOM colleagues.
I really didn't intend to say much other than to really welcome my colleagues to Laura. Welcome again to St. David, and welcome to the Minor Spice Cooperative, who, as we've pointed out, has really been staying the course in terms of promoting the continued cultivation and agro-processing of spices. I want to thank the Minister and his team for putting on this event. They insisted on it, and I think you can see why. Grenada has always been one of the Isle of Spice, and I think it's important for us to continue that tradition.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Isaac Bagwan, expressed gratitude to the heads for participating in the tree planting initiative, saying it aids the Ministry of Agriculture's continuous work on revitalizing the Laura Spice Garden.
This is a special estate for government. It's one of 5 surviving estates. Of course, the areas of the hotels have been dwindling, and as I said, this is one of the surviving estates. We have been in the process of revitalizing it. In fact, only last week, the Minister of Agriculture and a team of us were looking at these government estates to see how can we revive them and to get them to get back into production. I'm happy when our former Minister, Adrian Thomas here, when they had started the initiative last year, and with the blessings of the Prime Minister, to have a spice planting, a National Day of Spice Planting. And the natural selection was obviously here. And when the Prime Minister recently indicated that we must do and we must get our CARICOM ministers involved, then the natural choice was coming back to Laura here, because in fact it lends itself to that, being a spice and herb garden.
Minister for Agriculture Honorable Lennox Andrews said this planting of spices signifies the importance of Grenada's spice industry.
Grenada, known as the Isles of Spice, has a rich history intertwined with the cultivation and trade of spices. And today we reaffirm our commitment to this legacy. Spices are more than just agricultural products for us. They are part of our identity and heritage. The unique flavors and aromas of Grenadian spices, such as nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves, are renowned worldwide. By planting spice trees, we are not only preserving this heritage, but also securing a sustainable and prosperous future for our country.
Finally, in the news, CARICOM has endorsed the development of a digital skills fund as proposed by Chairman Honorable Deacon Mitchell, who is also lead head of Government for Science and Technology, including Information and Communication, in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet. The intention is to train 10,000 young men and women from within member states in various skill sets to enable them to work within the region. Prime Minister Mitchell says the idea is to gain employment globally from within the Caribbean. CARICOM will collaborate with international and regional partners to invest in the initiative.
We intend to partner with some of our international partners to fund this. CARICOM also intends to put some of its own funding in. The idea is ultimately to train 10,000 young men and women in specific digital skill sets throughout CARICOM so that they can work in the Caribbean and not leave the Caribbean, but be able to provide their services to citizens globally. We see this as an important initiative in ensuring that we can continue to address the issues of unemployment and underemployment amongst the youth. And we had a youth representative from Grenada who eloquently and in a very articulate way raised some of the issues that affect young people. And we therefore fully appreciate that digitization, digital skills, and ensuring that we have a comprehensive digital strategy is going to be crucial if we are going to put our citizens at the forefront of the technology revolution that continues to take place. So the delegation from Antigua traveled to Grenada with St. Kitts and Dominica on the LIA 2020 plane. So we received an update there. I can't give you specifics, but I think there's some optimism that ultimately LIA 2020 can begin to operate and provide additional service there. There has been an ongoing project to deal with maritime connectivity between Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Significant work has been going into this. The key thing is finding the appropriate vessel. The idea is to start first with cargo, because we want to certainly increase intra-regional trade, and then ultimately the movement of persons as well, but finding the appropriate open water craft that can treat with roll-on and roll-off vehicles and can treat with the type of cargo that we want to trade is still, in a sense, the biggest issue that needs to be addressed. And the team that is tasked with doing this is continuing the research on finding the right type of vessel. If that happens, then we anticipate that with the amount of work that has already been done, then the reality of this happening would then become more likely.
That story just ended the GIS Evening Report for Wednesday, July 31st. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.